Hello again. There is a new blog on YouTube. Well, okay, it's not really new. It's about as new as John McCain. It talks about Narnia. Duh. The person won't reveal his true identity. Kinda adds mystery to it, if you ask me.
But seriously now, there's another YouTuber who has started a video blog counting down to Voyage of the Dawn Treader. And his channel is called A Minotaur's Journey. I'm going to post the link in this video description, and I'm subscribed to it. And it's very, very different than mine, and it should be kind of fun. Counting down with that. I still don't plan on doing a regular videos on it. Maybe every, I don't know, month and a half or so. I mean, we'll see how big the issues are with Dawn Treader. But I'll probably still do a video here and there whenever a really big issue comes up, but not as regular as it was before. Because I kind of miss it, you know, I really do. And so it'll be fun. But in this case, the big issue, this guy. Iron Man 2 release date is now May 7th, 2010. Da 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 da. Same day as Voyage of the Dawn Treader. At first it seemed like it was a really shocking news, like, oh my gosh, you know, I'll have to change the release date, blah blah. And then it kind of sunk in, and you start to realize that I think it's safe to say that most fans kind of had this feeling that, you know, that probably will change the release date to Dawn Treader. It's already been quite a saga, the Dawn Treader release date. It's been changed a couple times, and a couple production dates have changed. And like, we thought they were going to start shooting in October, and then initially we thought they were going to start shooting, you know, last summer. I mean, it's gone all over the place. And now Eustace is cast, so timeline for Dawn Treader, it's been kind of all over the place, and because it was being released a week after Iron Man 2, I think we all kind of felt like it was going to change anyway. So the fact that we're all saying, well, the same day as Iron Man 2, they'll have to change it now, because it's not as big of a story as we thought. But it is still a big deal. I mean, to me it kind of shows, I guess my initial feeling was, wow, that so little is expected of Voyage of the Dawn Treader. Paramount doesn't even really, the studio behind Iron Man, doesn't even really seem to see it as any kind of threat. And like, they would just put it on the same name and be like, oh, whatever, ours is a more anticipated film, they'll change it. And I mean, maybe even it was just well known even outside of fans that, hey, they'll probably change it. Maybe that was what it was. But that was kind of my initial feeling. But Dawn Treader, Narnia just doesn't fit in summer, in my opinion. These kind of movies, Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe was just the perfect grab the whole family and go see the movie kind of thing. And it was being released at Christmas time. Universal, King Kong, they were going up against Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, and both Disney and Universal wanted that December 14th release date, same weekend as Lord of the Rings. They both wanted that, and Universal won, and King Kong got it, and Disney kicked its butt at the box office. So there was just something about Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe where it appealed to. This is one of the reasons why I thought Andrew Adamson, when I heard he was going to direct it, I thought, oh, that's kind of an interesting choice, because the first two Shrek movies, you know, I mean, younger children liked it, and, you know, kind of teen audiences liked it, and adults, you know, kind of thought the sort of the homage to still older movies was kind of funny. And so I thought Adamson was an interesting choice for Wardrobe, that broad age appeal. Wardrobe had that, you know, younger kids kind of liked it for the fantasy aspect, and Disney, they wanted, I think that was kind of the missing piece with Wardrobe, was that the kind of that middle group didn't really, you know, I think they were kind of hoping that they would get into the action adventure element, and they generally didn't so much. But then the older audiences, oh, they kind of remembered reading the book, kind of brought back memories, and so it just had the perfect grab the kids and go see it. Prince Caspian wasn't, and partially it wasn't really marketed that way, I think, as much as Wardrobe was. But it's just when you're setting something, you know, kind of early in the summer, it's hard to give it that grab the whole family and go see it kind of feel. Even WALL-E, which I still think is the best film of the year, even better than The Dark Knight. It still did pretty well, but not as well as, you know, was expected, and especially since it got such overwhelmingly positive reviews. So I think Narnia works much better in a Christmas setting. Now, of course, we have to keep in mind that Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 1 is going to be releasing in November of 2010, unless they change it like they did the other one. But that's how it stands right now, and so that's something to keep in mind. Of course, Wardrobe went up against Goblet of Fire and still did very well. Yeah, there'll be a few weeks separation there. Although Iron Man, I think Iron Man kind of threw. That's one of the things that threw off Prince Caspian, and that no one. I wonder if Disney kind of saw itself as the beginning, sort of definitively beginning the summer movie season. That's kind of how what they thought Prince Caspian was going to be. And most people didn't think Iron Man was going to do that well. I didn't. I mean, I'm into comic books, and I didn't think it was going to do that well. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, a week before it comes out, these really positive reviews start coming up, and there's all this buzz out of nowhere. At first, it was just kind of this, oh, whatever summer film. Next thing you know, people are talking about it in the same breath as Batman and Indiana Jones. They weren't in that discussion before. And so I think maybe that. And who would have thought that Iron Man was going to jump Prince Caspian a couple weeks after Caspian released? That it would actually move up. That's what surprised me. But I don't think. And this isn't really. I know this isn't anything, but Iron Man 2, I don't think it's going to do as well because a big part of the reason I think it was successful was it just surprised people so much. Iron Man is not a very well-known character. I mean, I'm a comic book fan, so I knew who he was. But to most people that hadn't even heard of him, and whoa, what do you know? It's actually a good movie. It was just kind of something new and different, and it was actually pretty good. It surprised people. Iron Man 2 will have 2 years of anticipation behind it, and a lot of excitement, and I don't think it'll be able to live up. But we'll see how it goes. That's not much of a factor. But either way, I think Dawn Treader should be moved to Christmas. Just makes a lot more sense that way. I think Dawn Treader has. I think there are not. I don't think there's a huge amount of people who will support the movie that they just love Narnia and they're just really into it and they've read the books a million times. But there are a significant amount of people, I think, who remember reading the books when they were little, or maybe just read Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. And the first movie really spoke to those people. They saw the wardrobe preview. It was like, yeah, I remember that there's like a lion, and isn't there like a scene with a fawn and a girl and they have tea or something, and that's who Adamson was. He was a guy who, he always wanted to talk about making not so much the book, but his memory of the book. I think that's what he's talking about. There's a lot of people who have these vivid memories of the book, even though they don't quite remember, the whole story and everything. And I think those are the fans that really loved Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. The people who just live and breathe this stuff, not so much. But that's not necessarily who the movie was made for. I think that's the main. As far as fans go, that's kind of the root of Narnia, is these people who, yeah, I remember that, and that's who the movie really spoke to. Prince Caspian didn't have that at all. Prince Caspian, I've talked to a number of people who they went into Prince Caspian and they were kind of expecting to see a story about a story that took place on a ship. Or some people who hadn't seen it, they'd be like, wait, that has the ship in it, right? Like, because they got Dawn Treader and Prince Caspian mixed up. To me, the people I know, Prince Caspian's the one book where it's like, oh yeah, I never really read that one, and the people that have read it, it's kind of the least favorite. I think the two books that have the biggest, oh yeah, I remember that kind of thing, is Wardrobe, obviously the biggest, and Dawn Treader. People remember, oh yeah, that has the ship in it, doesn't it? So I think Dawn Treader will get a little more of that spark of people, oh, I remember that. And so I think that Dawn Treader, I do think it's going to do better than Prince Caspian, especially if they change it to Christmas. Wardrobe was a great example of just the right thing at just the right time. And Prince Caspian, not quite the right thing at a very wrong time. So if they change the release date of Dawn Treader, I fully expect it to do better than Prince Caspian. It'll be very interesting to see what Michael Apted does. How different his vision is from Andrew Adamson. So, in general, I end videos saying how many days to go, but I'm not really sure.